This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtual Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your virtual pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
The Rams 2025 training camp is here. We'll talk about Stafford's health, Alaric Jackson's health, Kyron Williams' contract update, and so much more on this training camp episode here on the Rams Up Podcast Network. What's going on, Rams Nation? Welcome back to the Rams Up Podcast Network. I'm Ian. That's Mark. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, put your notification bell on for our channel. If you're on the audio only or podcast only side of things, share this podcast with everyone, all your fellow Rams fans, football fans, any of those options help out the algorithm for other Rams fans to see our content, and we very much appreciate it. But Mark, it is time, baby. Football season is not that far away. I'm glad to feel it and hear it. How you doing, dude?
Yeah, I tell you that it snuck up on me, but that's not true. We've been counting the days for Rams training camp. So, yeah, good times.
Yeah, me as well. And Rams Nation, I mean, I love Kevin Dotson so damn much. As he walks into training camp with a new hairdo, as he reports to camp with his new Rams haircut. Blue on the top and sides with the Rams horn detailed into his haircut with those yellow horns. And man, oh man, Kevin's so damn cool. He's got the matching glasses, right? The gold frames with the blue lenses. He's rocking the cutoff sweatshirt. I mean, he's just a true rock star for the Rams, if that makes sense. And not only that, he's one hell of a good offensive lineman too. But I'm just so happy we're here, Mark.
Yeah, that's what you call going all in for your team. Yeah, it's great to see. You don't see this very much anymore, but I think it's just a reflection of how strongly these players feel about their own team. And we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of players and that we talked before about how good they feel about the direction of this team. And I think Kevin Dotson says it all with his haircut and his apparel on the first day of camp.
Yeah, great apparel, as I photoshopped it a little bit, but he's got the great glasses and the great haircut. And gosh, I'm glad he loves being a Ram. I mean, he talks about it a ton on any interview. You hear him talk about the Rams. You hear it from our own media team talking with him. You see it on Behind the Grind, like our own NFL films. behind the scenes show that the team puts out. He talks about it. I mean, he's all in on being a Ram, and we win a championship. He might end up being one of my favorite underrated players in franchise history if he continues to play good and we win a championship. So shout out to Kevin. Kevin's all in with the haircut. Respect to him. He's ready for training camp, and hopefully you are too, Rams Nation out there. But into some other big and important news. Matthew Stafford is being held out of practice with some back soreness, Sean McVay says, as he will be sidelined to start training camp. But not like he was just sitting around doing nothing, as Sean McVay did say that while, yes, Matthew Stafford could be out there hanging out on the sideline, maybe coaching players up, and Garoppolo and Bennett and any offensive guy in general, or just, be out there for good vibes, good energy. He said it's most beneficial for him to feel as good as he can before returning to practice Monday, as he spends time with the training staff, right? Maybe getting stretching done to that lower back, getting any other type of, physical healing, right? Whether that be massage, special lifting of weights, all that stuff you can think of. That's where Matthew Stafford will be spending his time up until Monday, when he returns from, this sideline back soreness issue that he's got going on. But, McVay, the Rams organization, are pretty dang good about playing off severe things going on, as they lied to our faces about the severity of his elbow issue back in 2022, if you guys remember that, where that's when we signed Allen Robinson. He was having a nice training camp, but Matthew Stafford didn't get a single snap with them until, week 1 of practice, basically. And that season ended up being a disaster for a lot of other reasons other than Stafford. But the Rams will BS us. But hey, if he returns to practice Monday, looks good, throws good, no issues, he's not wincing or doing any of that, then all is well. But I will say this, Rams Nation, Mark, we're barely starting day one. We already got starting players being held out with some type of physical ailment. I mean, damn, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks, but remember how old this guy is, and I can speak to it. As you get older, the lower back, especially. I don't know the details on his back issues, but it's a real thing. And stretching, I tell you, stretching is so important. I've found that out myself over the last 10 years, and I just be thankful that it's now. They'll get it squared away. If he were a rookie or a second or third year guy, I'd be much more concerned. A guy like Stafford, but he'll be good to go on opening day, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise. It just but it keeps a little bit of wear off the tires, and be ready to go opening day. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, and that is exactly true, Mark, Rams Nation out there. But if we're already having some type of like, hey, Stafford's not feeling 100%, and we haven't even gotten to his first training camp padded practice, and we're already at that point, deep down in my Rams football heart and soul, I'm just like, I don't want to hear that and read that and see that, right? But we all know Stafford will make no excuses no matter what his health condition is. He will be out there. He will be ready, mentally at least, ready to go and play high-level quarterback. Now, whether his body will let him, that's a different question. As we know, Matthew Stafford will fight through anything. And, he was banged up at the end of the year this last season, and obviously had a great playoff performance and would have had an all-time comeback for some bad O-line, false starts, and other nonsense that went on in that Eagles game. So I believe in Matthew being good, but it's like, hey, you're 37-year-old quarterback already dealing with something before we begin joint practices. It's like, ugh. But we'll take Sean McVay's word. We'll take Matthew Stafford's toughness and grit that he'll be ready to rock week 1 and beyond. But still, something to monitor, Rams Nation. Don't keep your eye off our future Hall of Fame quarterback and his age and any little hidden ailment that could be coming or, he'll be dealing with. But
It'll be good again. It'll be fine. Everything will work out.
Yep. Man, number 9 is key to a Super Bowl victory and a Super Bowl run. So we need him as feeling good as possible all the time, not just in August right now. But we shall see, Rams Nation. But in other important news with players and health and whatnot, Alaric Jackson, we got some surprisingly positive news from Sean McVay, and I'm happy to report that Alaric Jackson will not be placed on injured reserve, will not be placed on the physically unable to perform list, and will not be placed on the NFL injured list. to start training camp, which I think is pretty dang important because Sean McVay says, hey, Alaric Jackson will be out there. He'll be doing individual stuff to himself on the side. As you can see here, shout out to Adam Grossbard. If I'm saying his name wrong, apologies on that, Adam. He does a great job reporting for the Rams, and he shares a picture from today that, hey, Alaric Jackson out here as expected, able to do some work off to the side as you see him there, all suited up like everyone else in his jersey, shorts, and cleats and everything else. And McVay said that, hey, we're going to take it a day at a time. They do have a plan, and if things are, go according to plan, that they expect him to be back probably a lot sooner than we all were thinking. Now, McVay didn't say week 1. He didn't say, hey, in September sometime. He's probably not trying to jinx anything, which I get that mindset dealing with a player who's had multiple blood clot issues now, which is a scary thing health-wise and obviously football-wise of what we're talking about. But, I mean, that's great news, Mark. We talked about it when it first got diagnosed, and we brought up other players in the past, right? Barmore for the Patriots, who missed 75% of the season last year, played for a couple games, then had an issue, and then they shut him down the rest of the year. So for him to be out there doing stuff and for McVay to talk positively like that, again, not throwing a specific date, but it's great news, Mark, sincerely.
Yeah, I saw that part of the press conference, and I think Sean was being very, very careful about how he framed it.
Yeah.
That it's still to be determined. He's not setting really trying to avoid setting any expectations, and that's probably the smart move. But I think my takeaway was the same as yours. We could see him out there, and if not, we just got to hope DJ Humphries is the answer and can hold it down for a game or two. But yeah, I came away feeling a little bit better about his prospects.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we need him out there desperately. Now, we predicted that he would probably miss half the season, which is still very, very possible and probably more likely than not that he plays week 1 if we're just being real. But, if Stafford's dealing with back problems already and we're going to have backup offensive linemen in, do we want him getting smacked around by Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter week 1, a great pass rushing, edge rushing duo that's, could abuse offensive tackles? I mean, that's part of my wincing earlier talking about Stafford, Mark. And it's like, oh, yeah. Right off the bat, we're going to be facing a Pro Bowl duo rushing the passer from the outside. So, if Alaric can feel better ASAP, his body will be in a good spot ASAP, and he can be out there week 1. What a miracle. And his presence is significant. So, let this positive thinking, this positive notion by McVay propel us forward to seeing him very, very soon. But great news. I'm glad to see him out there. He's not, back in Michigan recovering with family. He is out here doing something. He's not just sitting around where it's any movement is bad for him. But we shall see, Mark. We shall see. And speaking of other O-linemen who are important to the flow of our success and whatnot, Rob Havenstein says he'll be a full go for training camp. Thank God, because he had 2 off-season shoulder surgeries, both to left and right shoulders, which is pretty crazy. It wasn't some big super surgery where, he tore ligaments, but he put it in his own words, like, hey, some nasty stuff and then they get cleaned up. And it did. And as he told reporters in the last day and a half that, yep, he'll be ready to go and how he feels good and how he's ready to tackle, the mission of the 2025 season. We all know that is winning a Super Bowl, winning an NFL championship. But that's a big key because Rob, he's been banged up a ton this last handful of years as well. He's missed games, and the games he hasn't played in derailed the offense significantly. And obviously he's not the left tackle, he is the right tackle, but we all think of those games, right? The Miami Dolphins game. There's others I'm blanking on from this past 2024 season where it was a disaster with him not playing. And I'm glad that he's feeling good. We need him to be healthy, playing at a good to high level for this team to have any chance of a Super Bowl run. And great news that he's ready to go, at least at this point, Mark. He's another key factor on this O-line.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I feel really bad for Rob Havenstein at times because he gets absolutely no love. There was
Yeah, that's crazy.
the top 30, 30 and over players, and no mention of Rob Havenstein. He's just so solid, but just not elite. And for that reason, it just doesn't get any love. By the way, I got to apologize for me. I have a sunset crashing through my window here, putting a backwards glare. I was
It was
going to
great.
close it, but it's actually kind of cool. So I'm going to
It was
leave it.
good. The gold, the nice yellow, dark yellow is popping through that championship banner you have
Yeah,
behind there. So
yeah. Looks like I'm being resurrected or something, but but yeah, man, I loved it. And I saw him the Maui camp with his three daughters. It was pretty cool watching these guys just be dads.
yeah.
He's one of my favorite players, and hopefully someday, one day, he gets the recognition he deserves because no one ever talks about him.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's the thing with right tackles. Unless you're some super high draft prospect, right? Like Tristan Wirfs for the Buccaneers got that recognition, and obviously he won a championship right away with Brady's Bucks in 2020, and other guys that you can probably think of. Lane Johnson, obviously he'll be a Hall of Famer, and there's some other guys, but Rob isn't some huge personality that you see him
Right.
or talking crap or in any getting interviewed a ton outside of Rams media. So yeah, he is super underrated. He's definitely on the all-time Rams O-line list by far. If you had to pick a right tackle, it's him. Now the left tackle, we can go down two or three guys you could debate over, but right tackle, it's not a debate. Rob Havenstein is a Rams legend. He is part of the Rams all-time offensive line. No doubt about it. So we need this all-time Ram to be feeling good the whole season. Again, O-lineman, that's not going to be the case. He's going to be beat up and bruised and hopefully survive, the grueling 17-plus game season we're hopeful to play. But I'm glad that he's feeling good now, and there's no lingering BS from the offseason or the previous season where he can't practice at all. But we shall see. We shall see with everyone's health. But I'm glad Big Rob is feeling good right now from shoulder surgery. But speaking of O-line, Rams Nation, more into that. Sean McVay says that, hey, multiple players got reps at both starting tackle positions. As yes, DJ Humphries is filling in for Alaric Jackson. Warren McClendon also got reps, who had some good moments. I think the Patriots game, he played well in place of Rob Havenstein. And then other times where he filled in at the left, it was bad, right? We think Arizona Cardinals game. We also think the Dolphins game and others. And again, he's still a young player developing. O-line's a tough world to live in as an NFL football player. We know that. You know that. But, Sean McVay is not committing to DJ Humphries right now just because he was signed, and he's not committing to any offensive lineman to fill in case Alaric Jackson is not able to go. So I appreciate that from Sean. I appreciate him not just handing it over to DJ or anyone else just because they've been on the roster or they've been signed for the certain amount of money. And the Rams have never been that way. But, hey, they are going to not BS this situation. And they're going to say and give everyone an opportunity to be like, hey, if you are in this spot just because you're a veteran, you were paid this much, or you're still on a rookie deal and maybe you've played bad in the past, they're all going to get an opportunity. And I think that's good to hear, though, Mark, both at left tackle and then an emergency right tackle situation if, Big Rob has to miss a game. So that's a good sign that McVay is being real and keeping the competition alive no matter who we've signed or who's been on this team for the tackle.
So who are we talking about here besides Humphreys and McClendon? Are we talking about Quisenberry and maybe is KT Leviston still in the conversation, perhaps?
I mean, everyone pretty much. He
Yeah.
mentioned everybody. Like everybody's going to get a shot, to prove themselves to be reliable. Basically,
Yeah,
what
so
he was saying. So that's good.
yeah, my one takeaway from that is I wish he had handled the center position the same way.
Yeah.
Basically kind of hands it to Coleman Shelton, which I thought was really odd. But yeah, I mean, they have a lot of guys. They got a couple undrafted rookies that Wedig, I think his name is Trey Wedig, and a couple other guys that, hey, maybe they'll get a spin there as well.
Yeah. We need somebody to play well there if Alaric or Rob misses time. Again, week 1, everyone, against the Houston Texans. I think a lot of people I see are chalking that up just to be a W for whatever crazy reason, by the way, which is insane. A lot of people in our fan base, even pro analysts, that work for NFL groups for different companies all being like, oh, Rams are winning that game week 1. You can't chalk that up to an automatic W facing Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter rushing the passer. And again, if we're having to play a backup tackle at either spot or both, I mean, we're in a bad spot right off the bat without even playing, a game yet leading into that week 1 matchup. So credit Sean McVay. I think he's very, very smart and cognizant of that crazy matchup we're going to face, offensive line versus their defensive pass rush, D-line. So may the best man prove themselves, Mark. And I'm happy to hear him say that, though.
Yeah, I think that's silly talk to think it's a W because, taking a step back, not a Ram fan for a second, there's not that much separation between these two teams. They have a good coach, they have a good quarterback. They're probably a top 12 team for sure, if not better. And Rams, you'd probably put them in that 6, 7, 8, 9 range, Yeah. So there's not much separating these two teams. So it's going to be a tough opening day.
Yeah, it'll be tough. So we need all hands on deck on that O-line, especially the tackle spots to handle those edge rushers. That's what I'm thinking of in terms of health and the position battles on that O-line. It's like, who can be able to hang as best as possible with those two guys?
Oh, well, aren't you going to say it though, Ian? Just run the ball, right? Just run.
Of course. I mean, how do you negate that? But it's inevitable. McVay will throw the red carpet out for drop back passing majority of the game. It's inevitable.
Yeah,
but
Devontae and Terrence involved right from the get go. Probably
it's inevitable. And again, passing is a part of our DNA, and it's great. But there's times I wish it's like, hey, our tackles are getting their asses whooped, O-linemen, just like in years past. It's like, let's not throw so much. How about some screens and some not long developing pass plays? But we'll get there when we get there in a month and some change. But hopefully those tackles all play well, and that's what we'll keep an eye on throughout this whole training camp, Rams Nation. And other players, let's switch over to defense for a moment here as Braden Fisk. Man, I'm excited to see what he does in year 2, Mark and Rams Nation. Braden Fisk says he's feeling comfortable with playing at his new heavier weight, as he mentioned that he was under 290, hovering around the mid to upper 280s majority or all of his rookie campaign. As he had mentioned, the chaos of the draft process from his final game at Florida State, the bowl game, going into the draft process, interviews, combine, draft day, getting acclimated as a Ram, rookie this, rookie that, and how it was just going a million miles per hour. And he still played pretty damn good, in my opinion. Was up for defensive rookie of the year with all that craziness going on. And that, he didn't play at the weight he wanted to, which is this 292, 293 he mentioned that he feels just so much better at. He feels like he's got more power. He can play the style he wants to on a consistent basis, which that's pretty exciting to hear, Mark. And he also mentioned how getting his body right, eating better, that's been a big boost. Talking with veterans, even Cooper Kupp last year, he mentioned about saying, hey, how do you make that leap into year 2 and beyond? And, Kupp and other veterans are like, it's the body. Where do you feel good at? How can you control your diet, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, just about fueling the body to do what you are physically capable of and more. And Braden took that very, very seriously. And I'm excited to see him play, Mark. And he did also mention that when he was brought up the question of the D-line, the pass rush as a whole, I mean, he went to like, hey, Poona Ford, he's twitchy. He's getting moves in the pass rush. I think he could be a key piece and maybe even the missing piece that we needed, speaking of that D-line. So a lot of good info there, Mark. I mean, your thoughts on Braden about his weight, how he can play more free, and then his thoughts on Poona being possible key piece. Pretty cool.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
My name is Happy Gilmore. I haven't swung a club in years.
You know what you gotta do? Grip it and rip it.
Or... Oh, now that is some Happy Gilmore!
Everyone is talking about the comeback kid, Happy Gilmore.
Happy knee.
Yeah, baby!
Happy Gilmore 2, only on Netflix July 25th. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13.
After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
Not all meals are created equal. For instance, breakfast has the spicy egg McMuffin for a limited time, and lunch doesn't. McDonald's breakfast comes first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, one of my takeaways was, and I think we've talked about this before, a rookie flies across the country, a new part of the country he's never been in. He's house shopping. He's trying to get settled, learning a playbook. And that first year, it's a difficult thing to really get spun up. And you come back this year, now he's a true pro. He's already a true pro thanks to some of these guys that have mentored him, including guys like Cooper Kupp, like you mentioned. So now it's all about the football. And I saw that interview, and he looked like he's just chomping at the bit to get going, and really excited about, picking up his game a little bit.
Yeah, and I expect big things from him, just like we saw Kobe Turner. And yes, the stats weren't there, but we saw Kobe Turner play significantly better football from year one to year two. I expect Braden Fisk to do the same. Maybe the sacks all won't be there because we have so many guys that could get to the quarterback, but hey, you're blowing plays up, you're doing your assignment, and you're kicking ass and bullying O-linemen, then that's good with me. I don't need 10 sacks, even though that'd be great. But I expect big things from him. And you know who else is expecting big things of himself and with this pass rush? Byron Young says Pilates is helping his body be stronger and more durable for this 2025 season, as he was asked about what he did in the offseason, how he is getting ready with a team with serious expectations. And he brought up how Pilates, how it is making a huge difference in how he feels out there running around, his strength program with the Rams, how that is just fueling everything to making him a better football player. As again, what is the notion here, Rams Nation, with these young guys and players in general, is like what you are doing to fuel your body to be performing at its best is the key for any, not only professionality, but especially in football, where you are just in multiple small car crash collisions every play, every 30 to 60 seconds for an entire Sunday, Monday, primetime game afternoon. So great to hear Byron say this, Rams Nation. I expect another leap from him, but I think when players, Braden, Byron, anyone else is like, hey, I noticed a difference after changing this, and this, and I think I'm going to play better because of it, I think we should believe them and we should expect that. And I'm very excited to see what Byron Young does, because everyone thinks Verse is the next all-pro Myles Garrett-esque, holy crap, TJ Watt superstar. And, he kind of, not that people don't respect his game, but, he was kind of being thrown in the rearview mirror of like, everyone knows the Rams are going to pay Jared Verse, and he's going to be the guy they're going to keep for the next 8 to 10 years. What about Agent Zero there, Byron Young? And I think he's taking that seriously, and I expect big things from him, Mark Ramsation.
Yeah, he could really benefit from all these guys around him. This defensive line could really go off, especially in the pass rush. And I can't speak to the Pilates part of it. I barely know what Pilates are, actually. But it sounded like he's trying to get leaner and meaner. Yeah, I'm really excited. He came across as in this interview that I saw as another guy just ready to go. And I think this defensive line, this defensive front, the interior guys and the outside linebackers, man, it could be a really special unit when you start looking at these guys. As we'll talk about Blake Corum in a minute. As he said, you look around this room and there are just ballers everywhere. And that's especially true on the defensive front at this time.
Yeah, I mean, and for anyone out there who doesn't know what Pilates are, I'll give you a quick Wikipedia definition. So Pilates is a method of exercise that emphasizes core strength, flexibility, and quote unquote body awareness, and developed by Joseph Pilates. Ironically, that was his last name. It's the use of controlled movements and precise movements to strengthen muscles. So if you see people do like a lot of like yoga-esque, like hold a position here, let's morph into a new position. And obviously now with better gear and strength bands and weights and other machinery, now you can get pretty hardcore. And I've seen videos of a lot of NFL guys that'll fly out to specific places here in Los Angeles, which I'm pretty sure Byron and them have been going to, where it gets pretty serious. And it's all about, again, body control, strength building in a different way outside of lifting heavy weights, and flexibility. So for an edge rusher, right, who has to bend and contort his body to get around big alignment, to dip his shoulders, to be able to, move his hips left, right, forward, back at 360, to be able to get leverage, get around and through offensive linemen, running backs, whoever else, to get to the quarterback, stop the run, etc. That's pretty important. Everyone talks about Von Miller's bend, how that was a famous, wow, look at him look like a rubber band getting around the edge. And we saw some of that led us to a championship in 2021. We saw the last bit of that actually from Vaughn. That movement plus other things important for an edge defender, a D end, an outside linebacker like Byron. And that's what Pilates is doing. That's what Pilates is. And I think, I think any football player would benefit. And I think there are a handful of Rams guys that do partake in Pilates. So whatever you got to do to feel good, play better, be stronger, faster, all that, I'm glad Byron is caught on, and I expect big things, Rams Nation.
Yeah, that's probably another advantage to being in LA. You get access to the best of everything, right? Trainer wise, and all these new approaches to becoming better football players.
Yeah, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And switching back to the offense here in offensive personnel, Rams Nation, Kyren Williams, despite contract this, contract that, yada, 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 Kyren Williams will practice and no holdout for new contract during training camp, as there were some tweets and posts from Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, other big national insiders are like, yes, he's going to report, but a hold-in is still possible. And then had a lot of people freaking out in the Rams universe. And I was like, okay, if he's going to hold out, what a terrible business move this is from Drew Rosenhaus, who's a good agent, right? He's notoriously one of the best agents out there for any NFL player. And I thought this, okay, if Kyren holds out, not only would the Rams, faithful Rams fans all have a sour taste about that. Like, oh, really? He's holding out and he fumbles and he doesn't this and he isn't that. And then on top of that, you would be giving a lot more reps to Blake Corum. You would be giving a lot of reps to Ronnie Rivers. And then our rookie draft pick, Jarquez Hunter, who everyone says has the most explosive ability out of this group. And based on some stats, that does seem to be the case. Would Kyren really want that when he's in a contract situation and you're giving reps to guys who are similar skill set and maybe have even more unique skill sets than you? I just thought that was a terrible, dumb thing when that news first came out from national insiders and reporters. So then, luckily, not that much after, Kyren did arrive at Rams training camp with a ton of energy, Greg Beacham says. He says he will practice in mid-contract negotiations, and there's been progress on a new deal since OTAs. He had no desire to hold out. And Kyren said, for me, there was no decision. I play football. That's what I love. And Kyren did also mention that he's been doing grip strength exercises during the offseason to help with his ball security. He's also worked on getting out of his cuts faster to increase explosiveness. So all the things that Rams fans and we've all complained about or talked crap about or just wish Kyron was better at, he's been working at Rams Nation. He's aware, whether he's reading the tweets or reading the Facebook posts or the Instagram posts or Reddit, anything related with Rams fans and how they feel about him, or he's just being smart and self-evaluating himself based on what he's watching from game film and just how he feels about who he is as a player. He's working on it. And again, he wasn't foolish enough to give other guys opportunity if he were to hold out. So all good things, Mark. Drew Rosenhaus did meet with the Rams today in person with Rams leadership, and no contract has come yet. But both sides, both Kyron, Drew, and his representation, and both the Rams, McVay, Rams leadership, they feel like a contract is going to happen. And I kind of feel that way too, that something's going to happen eventually. But I think personally they should wait till after the season and see how this whole thing plays out. But regardless, happy to have him. I'm Team Kyron. Love the player. Think he's a good, productive running back, a great Ram, represents the Rams and who we are to a T. I'm glad that he's not holding out. I'm glad he's going to be out there.
Yeah, during that interview, press conference, and listening to him speak, I realized that might have been, I haven't seen very many Kyron Williams interviews or press conferences. And I really loved what he had to say, his attitude, basically, just so thankful he's doing what he loves to do, and he's not worrying about it. At least that's what he says. He's worrying about the things he can control, and all that will get itself figured out. He's here to play football. He was put on this earth to play football, basically, and that's what he's going to do. And just feels like the luckiest guy on the planet to be playing football in the National Football League. So I really liked what I heard from him today. And like I say, I haven't heard much from him, and that's probably a good thing. He's not one of those on the field. He gets a little chirpy sometimes, I guess, but I really liked how he came across in this press conference. Said all the right things.
Yeah, again, grew up in Missouri, St. Louis Rams fan, was there taking pictures with Steven Jackson when he was a kid. He wants to be here. He's talked about it. He's like, I don't picture myself playing anywhere else. So maybe he will get that team-friendly deal. We'll see. I mean, Drew Rosenhaus, he's great at getting players a lot of money, more than what is expected of guys. So we shall see what happens. But glad Kyron is there. Glad Kyron acknowledged the things that are flaws of his game he's working on. And I expect a nice season out of him. Again, another 1,000 yards, another 10+ touchdowns, and hopefully him staying healthy, which he has for the most part this last.
And I agree. Let's maybe get 6 games under our belt, see how it goes. Then we can talk contract.
Yeah, I mean, things could snowball into disaster tomorrow for all we know. So I'm in favor of waiting until the end of the season. Until a contract gets slammed on the table for him, just truthfully, just being real about it. But Kyron, I hope he continues to perform well and improves for sure, Rams Nation. But who else on offense is feeling pretty optimistic and feeling good to be a Ram? Well, Puka Nacua is always smiling, isn't he, Rams Nation? As Puka Nacua just cannot stop smiling, saying great things about Davante Adams. I mean, it is nonstop. Yes, this may be the Davante Adams Rams Up podcast recently in the last month and a half, couple of months, and since he's been getting acclimated and being out there practicing, catching passes and whatnot. But I mean, Puka says that Davante Adams is continuing to just wow the team, wow coaches, wow players, and also Davante, smartly, and I think doing the right thing as well, was, letting Puka go first in the receiver drills, right? You always see like the veteran guys, the guys who have been with the team longest, always go first in individual drills. If anyone you've ever seen clips throughout the years of not just the Rams, but of any team. But Puka said that, hey, thank you for deferring to me, but I want you to take the lead because I want to watch you do it. I want to watch you and learn from you. And out of respect for his veteran status and how great of an accomplished receiver, and Puka thought that was the right thing to do. And Puka said, when I was in front, I'm trying to sprint as fast as I can so I can turn around and watch him and, keep learning from Davante. And Puka said, when Davante first arrived, he was always deferring to Puka for everything. But, Puka's trying to get that flipped around to learn from, let's be real. Devontae, if he wins a Super Bowl championship, he will be a Hall of Famer. The stats, if he balls out, which leads to a championship, I mean, there's not even a debate, I feel, that he would be a Hall of Famer. And you can argue that right now that he is, based on everything he's accomplished and probably will accomplish with the Rams this next season and hopefully a second. But, man, Davante Adams, Mark, I mean, he has that much weight and positive pressure on this team. I mean, to hear a young superstar like Puka just constantly melt over him, I mean, it's fantastic. And I hope to see great things from him during this training camp. And even if Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing him passes for the next couple days, hopefully he can swallow that. And when Matthew Stafford gets back there, everything will get back to normal. But
Hey, you make a good point. I don't know if you're trying to make that point, but having Jimmy G in camp is really critical right now to help. He's a guy that can keep this offense developing while Matthew rests. A seasoned guy, knows what he's doing. But we talked about the defensive line and the pass rush and who's going to benefit the most, who's going to, guys that maybe you're not thinking about are going to really cash out because there's so many good players up there. It's kind of the same with the offensive weapons, right? Puka and Devontae, Kyron, and Terrence Ferguson is what we think he is. And maybe it's someone like Tutu Atwell that's going to go off because of these. You got Puka and Devontae out there. Man, it poses some problems for some defenses. And maybe Puka's playing a little mind game right now with cornerbacks across the league. It's like, who are you going to cover? Pick your poison when you play the Rams, right?
Yeah, it feels that way for sure. And man, it all ties together, Rams Nation. Stafford's health, the O-line health, all that is significant to how Devontae and Puka will perform, because if the O-line can't protect, doesn't matter if Matthew Stafford's back there or not. If Matthew Stafford gets banged around and misses games and then the O-line's back, it don't matter because Matthew Stafford ain't around. So there's such a huge domino effect with this passing attack and how we're going to view and look back to this Davante Adams era with the Rams, and whether or not he will be a for sure Hall of Famer, and whether or not he will produce and catch touchdowns and make big, first down conversions and whatnot. But as of right now, Puka thinks things are going to be fantastic. I think so. I know you do, Mark, and something to keep an eye on. How does he look with Jimmy? And then when pads get on, how does he look with Matthew, joint practices, and obviously leading into week 1 and beyond. But man, Puka's just getting me pumped every time he speaks to Devontae, Mark, Rams Nation. I'm just like, son of a gun. Can we get to week 1 already? I need to see 17-12 kick some ass out there in the passing attack, but we have to wait.
I think the only time I've seen Puka sad was when he got kicked out of that game in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
He's a pretty positive guy.
I know. Well, he got baited into a swing, and, I've seen people get ejected for way worse. That was such a lame ejection. So he knows he won't do that again. McVay, I'm sure, gave him an earful, and I'm pretty sure Puka said that's what happened. So, but Puka Nacua, number 12, Devontae, number 17, are the keys to a Super Bowl run, and we hope to see them healthy and balling out with a healthy O-line and a healthy Matthew Stafford. But Puka continues to talk well of Devontae, and I'm pretty happy about that too. But speaking of offense, speaking of somebody who kind of got lost in the shuffle, who we all had big expectation for, me, Mark, everyone part of Rams up, you guys, fans, I mean, we all were disappointed with how Blake Corum's season went after him being a megastar at the University of Michigan. He was on the Rich Eisen show in the last, handful of days and catching up with his fellow Michigan man, Rich Eisen, talking about Michigan, talking about other things, NIL. But when the Rams were brought up and Rich Eisen did ask Blake Corum about his thoughts on the Rams team, realistically, right? How do you feel about this squad? Adding Devontae, yada, 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 Puna, the core coming back, young defense. And Blake Corum believes, 2025 Rams can absolutely win a Super Bowl. As Blake says, you look around, all the veterans, the multiple Hall of Fame level players that are around, the veterans, the young guys who performed well, that are just getting more experience. He's like, absolutely, we can win a championship. And I happen to agree with that. And yes, Blake Corum's a part of the team, but he gave some objective thoughts on it. And objectively, if anyone else is tuning in here and thinks the Rams are not a Super Bowl contender, well, you're wrong. And that's just the truth. Sorry. But speaking of Blake Corum, though, Mark, I want to ask you this, because he did mention that his rookie campaign, from being a mega superstar, in his own words, of being a superstar player at Michigan, right? One of the all-time great Michigan players, not just our running back, but just for all his years spent there, what he meant to the team, how he was a core leader, a core player on the field where they were a run-first offense, and he was just shredding people on the ground his whole career, it feels like. How he went from that and then being not, relegated, but just how Kyron was playing, just how things went to, a backup role, and how it was, he didn't complain, but he said how it was a learning experience to be able to take that on. And he said it was unfortunate that, when he got his opportunity, he broke his arm, right? If we all remember in that week 18 game against Seahawks, where I was expecting him to go off, really. And if you even think about it, Rams Nation, think about the little action that he was getting. There were multiple times where he was breaking a huge run. And I want to say 3 out of the 4 times he did that, 3 of them came back because of an offensive holding, an illegal formation, or some other dumb penalty where he showed great vision. He showed great agility and juking and just lower body moves to be able to make a big play, which not that Kyron can't do, but Blake in his 50 or less carries off the top of my head, in 4 of them he had huge 40+ yard runs, it felt like, and 3 of them came back. But I mean, Blake has an it factor to him. Now, is he going to be, come on, Saquon Barkley, McCaffrey, where they take a little 5-yard run and make it 90 to the house? Of course not. I don't think so. But Blake has shown on film in his limited carries this last season as a rookie that if he gets opportunity, he can have some big runs. And I think he deserves more opportunity outside of whatever Kyron feels about that and McVay and all that. But I'm happy that he's here. I'm happy that he is the backup running back. So if anything happens to Kyron or things just fall off with fumbles or anything else, I believe in Blake Corum to produce and play well, Mark. And that's a big deal for a team wanting to go on a championship run.
Oh yeah, I love our running back room, and what I would say about Blake Corum, he had a disappointing rookie season, but I don't think he was disappointing. It was really just
That's
about
the perfect way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about his, lack of opportunities. And I think sometimes McVay, we've seen that from Sean McVay in the past. He's got something working, something going, and he's just, not willing to make a significant change in personnel or strategy and just roll with what's and fair enough. Kyron played really well. Kyron had a great year. I would have liked to see him I think Kyron had more offensive snaps than any running back in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So, yeah, they should have played Blake more for sure. And it's kind of a nice situation to have a guy coming back for a second year, and we know he can succeed in this league, and he's just sitting there in the wings waiting for his opportunity, and hopefully he'll get more this year. And same with Jarquez Hunter. We'll see what happens with him, but man, this running back room, feel really good about it. And you're right, if our number 2 guy, if that happens to be Blake Corum, we're set pretty well, I think.
Yep, we are set pretty well. And again, your point of Jarquez Hunter, the rookie, who, McVay and Les Snead really wanted on day 3, and they got him. Everyone says in his film he does have some speed, but the metrics, right, the analytics say that he's got real home run ability. And watching the film on him, there is some of that. I didn't think it was as fast as people make it to be, but if he is that which excites Sean McVay and Les Snead and any of the analytic guys out there tracking all that stuff, explosive plays and whatnot, I mean, he'll probably get a lot of opportunity if he kicks it and kicks some ass in the preseason and, elevates himself to serious playing time there as well. So from Blake, his unique explosive ability, juking people out and agility and all that, which we saw last year. And if Jarquez Hunter can produce that with Kyron's more power bulldozing, personality of play. I mean, that's a nice running back room. And I hope to see Blake Corum play a ton, as the limited sample size we saw. I mean, the dude can play. And hey, a true professional, took it on the chin with the limited playing time, but we shall see what happens. And I'm glad he's on the roster, and we'll see what happens with the other guys. Sure.
One last thing on the running backs, and I don't want to totally ignore Ronnie Rivers and his potential. But then there's another guy that I had in my eye on. We'll probably see him a lot in the preseason. Long shot to make this extreme long shot, Jordan Waters. And I think you'll enjoy his style of play in the preseason. We'll see him for sure, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get a good look at a lot of guys, Rams Nation, as camp ramps up, as young players who were drafted, second-year players like Blake and others, how do they look? How do they progress as a Ram? And other guys who are maybe just not on the radar, right? What is going on with Landman at inside linebacker? How is he looking, right, as a veteran signing? How is Coleman Shelton looking back at starting center, who's just handed the job? How are all these other guys forming together with the starting unit or backup, or maybe they just earn it in general? I mean, we'll talk about all that throughout the coming weeks, Rams Nation, as training camp is getting kicked off, and I'm super excited to cover it with Mark and with you tuning in as well, Rams Nation. But Mark, before we get out of here, any last words?
No, yeah. Hey, man, it's going to be fun. Another guy to look out for. When you were running off some names there, Willie Lampkin. He's probably the most popular guy on the YouTube channel in the comment section. He's another guy that I'm really excited to see how he fits in. But yeah, there's a bunch of guys that I'm really excited about it. It's that time of year when you're all excited about undrafted rookies from Toledo. And the chances they have of making a roster and contributing. So it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Going to be tons of fun, Rams Nation. And again, if you're on YouTube here, like this video, subscribe to the channel, put that notification bell on. All that helps out the YouTube algorithm for other Rams fans to see our content and tune in with you. And if you're on the audio only or podcast only side of things, share this podcast and audio with all your fellow Rams fans. Again, any of those options, me and Mark seriously appreciated, as we want to see you looking like Kevin Dotson, going to training camp at Loyola Marymount, or even at home, rocking your Rams gear. Maybe you don't have to dye your hair and do all the horn stuff, but if you do, respect, you're an OG, you're a real G, a real Rams fan like Kevin Dotson. But that'll do it here on this training camp episode of Rams Nation. But never forget, baby, go Rams.